So there's plenty of Celeste action today. I'm actually also on the next race, which is 5 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, Cookie forgot to put his name in. That's great. But anyway, we have a race going now. So prologue here, gonna introduce you to jumping, which is pressing the jump button. Climbing walls is a mechanic, and we also will learn to dash here in the end.
It's also a climb button. Wow. You see a bunch of jumping, since each jump saves 2 frames compared to running. You know, gotta save the frames. We're in the speedrun after all.
Free time save is best time save.
And this sync is really good.
Nice. And we got a deathless prologue, which means we have a good race going in here. 2 Forsaken City now. So we're gonna see the runners now utilizing their dash in some interesting ways to that sync is great. Anyway, we're gonna see dash jumps, a dash followed by jump, which gives you a nice height boost as well as a little bit of speed. Then we have the hyper jump, which is basically a crouch dash jump, usually on a down diagonal dash followed by a jump. Gives you a lot more speed, but not as much height. And then also, especially in this chapter, but of course using all of them, is wall bounces, where it's a wall upwards next to a dash upwards next to a wall, and then followed by a wall jump. And as we have explained as I have explained these first mechanics here, the runners are flying through here for Forsaken City. Both different races are pretty much synced right now. Cat and Laurie are incredibly synced.
The sync is real nice there. Laurie actually went for a reverse wave dash in the first checkpoint to cross the spikes from above instead of down below. Lost a bit of time there, and that's why they're so synced right now.
And we have Cookie here in the very last screen there, getting hit by those spikes, using some neutral wall jumps there to not lose his stamina and clearing that room. vitalGL now finishing up as well, just a little bit behind. Both Laurie and Cat are and as I say that, Cat gets a pretty costly death there, not too bad, but giving Laurie the slight edge here for the bottom race. And meanwhile, the top racers are both running into old sight. So do you want to talk about the old sight mechanic?
The main thing in old sight is something which is not unlocked yet. You have to actually move down and make it happen, which are the dream blocks. If you dash through a dream block, you'll just keep moving until you are on the other side of the dream block. And that should be open air, otherwise you'll just slam into a wall and die. And it also gives you dash back, which allows them for some fast strats, especially in these few rooms here.
Yeah. So we're just gonna see them trying to utilize the dream block because it is faster than just regular dashing. And sometimes like this room, you basically have to use them. Now Cookie is starting here with the Badline chase. So Badline, the evil part of yourself, is going to chase you around here with a 3-second delay, but she's going to copy your every move, just like Shadow Mario and the different Mario games, for example, or in Mario Galaxy at least.
Yep. But as long as you don't loop back around the same path, you should not get hit in this chase.
But we will actually get forced to do that in the room that Cookie is in right now. We have to do a little bit of backtracking here, not too much, so getting that nice dash over between them. And also in this room here, in the very end, we have to collect some keys and sort of have to do some backtracking. So.
Yep. These coins, when collected, make a ding-dong noise and move the block out of the way. And quite annoying in the speedrun since it makes us slow down. Because we have to collect all the coins, of course. However, it does lead to interesting strats and optimization.
And Laurie now a little bit of lead over Catnip, and Cookie has extended his lead over Vital here. Now in the awake section, as Vital is just moving through the section right beforehand.
Yep. Cookie looking at a sub 2 old side here. Really nice.
154. That's really, really good. Cat had a bit of trouble there with the bad lines. Is now getting into the last room. Laurie has just finished with the wrong room and is going into the dream block section before the awake section.
Ooh. Cat.
That's a big death.
Barely missing one of the faster strats to go through that coin part. And our top race, now both entering resort. Cookie already opening the door to the resort, saying hi to Mr. Oshiro. And encountering these dust creatures that will move around in cycles everywhere and are kind of just in the way. Not really actually aiming at you, but they're kind of annoying.
And for pretty much all the rooms here, there's going to be 2 cycles, one upon entry and one upon if you die in the room. Usually the death cycles can be a lot worse, or not a lot, but at least a little bit worse than the entry cycles. So not only will the death cost you the actual death, but may also have you to restart the room. As you saw, Cookie right there, it did actually reset the room because he died and didn't want to deal with the death cycle.
Yeah, there used to be times when you would reset in the room to get the more advantageous death cycle, but it's good to see runners just going with entry cycle strats instead.
There's like a couple of rooms that I've seen people do death cycles in, but we'll see how these runners do. So Cat has now finished up after having a bit of trouble there with that last battle line room, but is also going to join the rest of the runners for the resort now.
Yep. And Cookiepocalypse entering the huge mesh section, which is one of the few branching paths you have in this game, most of it being for strawberry collection. But in this case, you have 3 options to pick from: books, towels, and boxes. No, yep, actually right. But the main order we use here is determined on the position of Oshiro in the hub area, since we don't want to travel as long through that, since it's kind of a mess.
Hey, that's the name.
Exactly. Ouch.
Yeah. And of course, these rooms are incredibly cycle-based here and can have some really harsh cycles, so we'll see how Cookie does. And, well, the rest of the runners also know they're joining up.
Vital's coming up to the spike jump, the first of a few in this run. Would you like to go through those?
Yeah, so spikes in this game have this interesting property where if you're moving away from them, they don't have hitbox. So by wall jumping on the little corner there beneath the spikes, you can actually be moving away from them throughout your entire hitbox and not get hit by them, which is very nice.
Yep. And I believe most runners use it, have 4 jumps in total of these spiked corners.
4? Is it 3?
Yeah. Keyskip technically has 2.
No. That's the first one, it's not a spike jump.
Oh no, right, that's just a corner.
Yeah,
Never
3.
mind.
Cookie now in the towel section here, the last one of the huge mess. Vital a little bit behind there in the second, and Laurie now entering the first, as Catnip is still making her way there. I think it's her. And Cookie now is now finished up with the huge mess here. Very, very solid resort so far from him.
Oh, this area is so clean when it's empty.
It's wonderful. And Vital now in the last section here. Meanwhile, Laurie in the second, and Catnip has now finally got into the huge mess as well. And yeah, the section here that Cookie's now in is quite a lot of fairly long rooms in a row here with some just interesting cycles, a huge amount of dust bunnies everywhere, so it can be quite annoying to get through in a good way. Vital now also moving into the elevator shaft here. Laurie in the last part of Huge Mess, as Cat is about to get to the first button here in a couple rooms.
Yeah, so Cat's falling a bit further behind, especially in Resort, which is one of the more like the chapters where you are prone to losing time. Kind of can be seen as the first actual power spike in the game. As old side is compared to this, that's very doable.
Let's see on Vital's screen here if he's gonna go for nope. Gets hit by Dust Bunny. He goes for these chain hypers there, very nice done on the second try there. It's pretty tricky to do. Cookie also went for it, but you're talking about other things. Now Cookie is in the Oshiro fight here, so well, it will be an Oshiro fight, but we don't have time to fight, so we're just gonna run away from him here. He's also, as most things in this chapter, on a cycle here. He shoots out a little lightning bolt to show where he's gonna be attacking, and then attacks. And in these last couple rooms that Cookie's now entering, it's gonna be pretty tricky to deal with both the cycles of Oshiro and the Dust Bunnies, because they can sometimes just make some awkward situations happen. So we'll see how the runners deal with that.
Especially the last room. You see your Cookie already slowing down a bit to not die, since dying is such a big time loss here.
Laurie there also did the hyper to get the key, very nicely done. Vital in the last 3 rooms now. Cookie finishing up that. It was an incredibly clean resort. I can't read.
Is that pun intended?
What?
Clean resort?
Sure. Fucking hell. Cat now has also finished with the huge miss there, so has lost a bit of time unfortunately, but nothing they can come back from. Cookie now starting up with Golden Ridge here, so as is written, we have new mechanics. We have these green bubbles that act like a second dash. We have clouds that act like trampolines for recent unknowns. And we also have wind that acts like wind. Surprising.
Yeah, wind is just... It doesn't need to be changed to be annoying. So it's just wind. There's actually 2 kinds of clouds. As you can see here, normal clouds and these weird pink clouds that vanish after 1 bounce. But after a while they'll come back, don't worry. And especially in this coming room, you can actually use a nice extended dash jump to skip a bunch of clouds.
Or you skip one cloud.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly one cloud.
One bunch of 1 cloud. Nice. And here comes second spike jump. First try easy every time. Very nice on the Cookie. Meanwhile, Laurie, bit of a bad death there in the Ashira section. Catnip now going for the hypers. Very nicely done. So, yeah, I think still about the same time difference as it was before. Cookie failing that auto scroll skip. That's unfortunate.
So, I'm kind of missed this approach. Did he use the bunny hop variant?
Actually didn't see. Misses the like setting of the air block and has to do it slower out there. I actually missed what he used, unfortunately. Sorry, with a death through the very end of that Ashira section. That is a harsh death.
That final dust bunny, just when you think everything's clear, there's just one more to mess you up.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Nice little double wall Moses there from Vital as well. Let's see what if he goes for the auto scroll skip and what tactic he goes for. And Laurie there finishing up with the resort. Cat still a little bit behind there in the I think fourth to last room, so that's a bit to go.
Yes. You see Cookiepocalypse now moving into the second auto-scroller of this chapter. Where if you were a robot, you could use those spikes and that block to jump around and actually not use the auto-scroller, but we're not. We're actually human mortals. So we take the slower way.
I mean, speak for yourself. Cookie now in the last room here before the harsh wind section, so this is probably the biggest like difference between the casual experience and the speedrunning here, because most casual players would only be able to like walk a couple pixels per like second and then occasionally dash. Meanwhile, we can use hypers and extended dash jumps and all this good speed tech to move through this chapter, or part of the chapter, very quickly still.
Yep. They almost make it seem like there's no wind.
Catnip here also in the last shiver room, struggling a little bit.
Yeah, Cookie just dashed into a snowball. Ooh. Which kind of, they come from they're like Oshiro, but they come from the right without lightning. So they're slightly more annoying. We see
Catnip now finished up with the resort. Gonna join for the Golden Ridge. Ooh. Vital accidentally entered the little secret area there to the right. That was interesting. But going into the last room here before the harsh wind section, Cookie's built up quite a nice lead here over Vital in these first 4 chapters here.
Yeah.
Also, Laurie has gotten not quite a big of a lead, but still a fairly big lead there over Catnip. So.
Gets the auto-scroller skip as well.
Yeah. And now we have Mirror Temple, and of course, that means new mechanics. So we have these dash blocks that move on their little path when you dash in the room. We have red bubbles that act like the green bubbles from before, but move infinitely until you either dash out of them or until they hit a wall. Nice little reverse extended dash jump, I think, from Cookiepocalypse there. Very
hyper
smooth.
Actually.
Hyper, okay. And also in the Mirror Temple, we're gonna meet some friends in a little bit.
Yeah. And with dash blocks, you can create some crazy momentum, since you do regain their momentum if you jump off.
Yeah, that's the thing with all the moving.
Oh, he's going for one.
Ooh. Oh, we just barely missed that corner boost. That's unfortunate.
So yeah, that's really fun to pull off.
It's a pretty precise little. You have to use the speed of like the block when it's moving, which is just like a couple of frames, and then you also have to like do a bunny hop in the right way, and then also a corner boost in the very end, which is a if you hold grab and jump when you're like on the top couple of pixels of a corner, you will actually like get a boost over it, and if you get used to it there, you can actually like pretty much skip the next room entirely, which would save like 3 or 4 seconds.
Yep.
And now Cookie is gonna meet the friends here, the Seekers. First, they're gonna play as one of them, and we're gonna learn how they work a little bit. They are looking for Madeline very heavily. They can break these red blocks, and as we'll see in a bit, they can also pick up these coins for the blue lock switches that we've seen throughout the run.
Yeah, it's a really ingenious way to teach you how these enemies work. Although story-wise, it might seem a bit weird.
It's still weird. It's everything's weird.
Because there's also these transparent barriers that they cannot pass through, but you can. Granted, those are mostly in sections where we ignore the entire section altogether, which is search, but they're still there. Here's some very nice Seeker manipulation going on. Making sure that they grab a few coins while we move on with our lives.
Ooh, that just barely reached. So the explosion from the respawn of the Seekers can also pick up the coins. So Cookie was a little bit sort of lucky there, because that was just on the edge there. This is a nice strat. Gets that boop on the Seeker there, so he will pick up that coin. Meanwhile, he can move on. Usually this room can be quite tricky because of that one Seeker that can just follow you around and mess up your day. But Cookie gets to that very cleanly there, so well done. And we have Laurie now finishing up with Golden Ridge here, as Catnip still in about the middle, I think. So lost a bit of time, fortunately.
Yeah, that looks really around the middle of Ridge.
And Cookie, they're going for search skipping, getting it first try, because why not? Let's go. Search skip is the biggest skip in this game, where you do or in his case, he did a reverse extended dash jump to clear that whole section of spikes, instead of collecting 2 keys and taking a long red bubble path to get past those spikes.
Yeah, it's just very slow to do. Which is why it says that was 3 minutes you mentioned.
Yeah.
And now we see here the guy Theo, trapped in a crystal. We have to move him around and get him to the end. However, he kind of just slows you down. Doesn't allow you to dash, so you have to throw him, dash, and then pick him up. And as a bonus, you get a slight speed boost. And this is basically more Seeker manipulation while throwing Theo around. So
this is the together with the last part of Golden Ridge, it's also a part where the difference of casual and casual runners and the speed runners is going to be very huge, just because of the way we can utilize hyper dashes and gain momentum with Theo. Nice speed boost there from Cookie. Gets a huge speed boost there from the dash block.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Vital is in the last room there of the arrival section before first search skip. Laurie a little bit behind, gonna meet the Seeker soon, and Catnip has just started up with the harsh wind section there.
Yeah, Cookie pulling comfortably ahead here. And it's gonna be hard to catch up, especially with the 2 harder chapters still yet to play.
Yeah. Well, it could also mean that Cookie can mess up there more and giving Vital a chance to come back, but we'll have to wait and see. Vital now going for search skip here, also goes for the reverse extended dash jump there. There's like one other stat you can do, but it's pretty darn hard. So that's usually what we'll see most runners go for.
Catnip dying in the final spring of this harsh wind room.
Ooh. That's oof.
Seems to be struggling a little bit as her timer is red. That's usually, with most life split setups, that indicates that they're behind on PB.
Yeah. So as Catnip is finishing up there with what's it called? With Golden Ridge, Cookie is now entered Reflection, going for Lake Skip. Oop, has a small net there. Let's see if he can get it this time. Yes, Lake Skip. That's very nice. So that Lake Skip saves like 4 or 5 seconds, and basically it's a you do a wall bounce there when coming out of the water, and getting out of the water there resets your dash, so that you can do another wall bounce just underneath those spikes there, and skip having to use a Kevin block to get up there. Also in Reflection here we have feathers that you allow you to fly for a bit, and you can control that omnidirectionally, which is very nice. And also we have these Kevin blocks that you dash into, and then they will move towards wherever you dashed into them for as long as they can, basically.
Yeah, and that only applies if that side where you dashed into is blue.
Yep. And now we have Catnip finally going into Temple as well after a pretty harsh Golden Ridge overall, unfortunately. And Laurie, meanwhile, in the last room there of the Unraveling section, and Vital is in the last couple rooms there of the Theo section. So.
Nice secret manipulation there to break the block near the second coin, so you can actually get out of here quicker.
Yep, very well done.
And we see Vital here in the final Theo room, experiencing these shockwaves, but he manages to throw the crystal into the eye and get out of there.
And Laurie now going for Search Skip as well. Oh, there you go.
First try, easy every time.
That is actually one of those tricks that's a little bit easier than they look. And for being the biggest skip
in the game, it's very rewarding for the little amount of work you have to put into learning that. And meanwhile, Cookie is flying through this first section here of Reflection in the last room here before meeting up with Grandma and then going on a battle line chase.
Yeah, it's time to face your fears, face your darkest self, and see if you can actually come to terms with it. Which is obviously why it's called Reflection.
Nice, so the story makes sense. Ooh. Oh, that's a big death there for Cookie. So in this room normally you would get like, I think 3 checkpoints overall, but because we use these little skips here between the spikes, we don't actually unlock the checkpoints and have to start all the way from the beginning. There we go, nice hit on the second try there from Cookie. Vital now starting up with the Hollow section there, and Laurie is in the Theo section of Temple, and Cat now starting up with the Unraveling section.
Ooh, actually dies on the final big Kevin here. It's a nice boost you can do here with this Kevin block. If you do a very short hyper and then a bunny up, you can get double the momentum from the Kevin block and just
nice. I like that.
Zoom through there. That feels really good.
And actually, if you get enough speed and skip the cutscene too late, you'll actually get stuck in the floor.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Now you have to retry to get out of the floor. And it's funny because at that moment the music is stopped and Badline's just looking at you like, well, what's it gonna be? Of course,
there you go.
The Badline fight. She likes to throw fireballs, sometimes shoot a laser, but you just run up to her and smash her in the face. A bunch of optimization here where you get sent back flying, but regain your dash. So these runners want to get to the ground as fast as they can to hyper instead of just hover in the air.
So it's a very, like, overall, Cookie has had a really solid run so far, so we'll see how these last 2 chapters here treat him, because we might be on a good pace. I'm not quite sure what his standards are, but if it were me, this would be a really good pace.
For me, I would have died already. A million.
Ooh, Vital with a really nice save there on those bumpers, having to like do a little bit of a loop-to-loop, but manages to live. Catnip now on Search Skip, having a bit of trouble. See? Oh. There we go. Nice. And Laurie also going for a surge skip, or late skip actually. Nope, decides against it, never mind.
Yeah. After one death, it becomes just... You have to get it the second try, otherwise it's not worth it. So it's a very advanced skip to actually get a time gain out of.
Yeah. And now we have Cookie here in the second part there of the battle and fight. The last little, not that many rooms, but can be a lot trickier because of these moving platforms that send you in various ways. And Vital is now in the Kevin block here to the battle and fight. Laurie entering the Hollow section very shortly, and Catnip in the Theo section here starting up.
Yeah, this is Badline's final hurrah. She tries to convince you we're not climbing the mountain. But too bad. We're gonna do it anyway.
Not only are we gonna climb the mountain, we're gonna speed climb the mountain.
Race you to the top.
And this last room here of the battle and fight is a very long room, so but Cookie so far, yep, nice. Gets through that without deaths. And that was an incredibly clean reflection.
Even got a cycle skip there in the final room, which is really hard to get. And now we have the beautiful pink hair, which indicates that we have 2 dashes instead of 1. If you thought we were gonna be fast with just 1 dash, oh boy, you're in for a treat. Finishes with an in-game time of 24:22. So with like a 9-minute summit, that's a PB. So I don't know how good a summit usually is.
What was this PB? Wasn't it 36 something?
Yeah. Even
yeah, so it's you can have like up to a 12-minute PB or summit and still get a PB.
Yeah, 12-minute summit should be like
very doable for
most consider that a bad summit already. So
yeah. So we might he's on very good pace. Yep. So we'll keep a close eye on that. As talking about closing eyes, Catnip just kill the eye and Mirror Temple there is gonna move into reflection. I like that segue.
I like it.
You will have Vital there in the last, actually in the just before the second part, right? Yeah, there we go. Second part there of the battle line fight. Laurie almost gonna meet up with Grandma. Catnip starting reflection. Cookie has just zoomed through the 0-meter section there of Summit and going into 500. So Summit is basically a recollection of all the chapters we've seen beforehand. So the 0-meter that he just finished was the Reflection-esque chapter. Now it's going to go to chapters 1 through 5 before finishing up with the very summit on the mountain.
Laurie with a really clutch save in the on the bumpers there. Manages to stay alive until the feather respawns, so she can dash through the bubble and get the feather.
Catnip went for late skip once, then decides just like, nah, I'm good. And yeah. Vital in the last couple of rooms here, I think he's the second last right now, yep. Second last room there for Vital of the battle fight, as Laurie is in the last room before the fight.
Yeah, the little water section before the final Kevin block. Can be quite annoying since you can dash so fast and so often. Decides to take it a little bit slow. I like it. And
Cookie now in the senior section. Oh, accidentally gets into a wall there, but goes again. So we didn't talk about this also, but in the dream blocks here, you can actually both jump out of them and hyper out of them if you're fast enough. So we'll see if Cookie might just do that for us here.
There was one.
Oh. Nice corner boost.
Especially in this room is where you see a lot of hypers.
Yeah, there goes one there, and one there, and one there. Nice, very nice done, the Cookie. That's a you just have a couple of frames to input hyper dash, so that's very well done.
Oh boy. Alright.
And we're back. So Cookie now in the 1500 section here. This is usually seen as the hardest section of the run here. Has a lot of tight cycles, a huge amount of dust bunnies absolutely everywhere. So apparently after we left, Oshiro made even a bigger of a mess. So
yeah,
we'll have to get through this. This time we don't have the time to clean up though.
Now we just have to survive, which is a task in of itself.
Quite so. And in the next room here, I think we're gonna see Cookie here going for the ultra strat there. Nice, get the first two there. Oh, and dash into plus money there. So he has to reset the room here. So also another one of those where the end cycle is just so much better. Still, just barely lets it up there in the end. Hopefully, should take it a bit slower there.
Yeah, that looked like he almost went too fast.
Gets through it on third time though. That's a very, very fast strat. That like reduces that room from like a good 15 seconds to like, I don't know, 5-ish. So even with 2 deaths, that's still about equal as going like the normal slower route.
Vital now clearing the 0 meter section of Summit, entering 500.
Yeah. And Laurie is about to enter the second part, right? Yeah, soon entering the second part there of the Badline fight. As Catnip, I think, has caught up a little bit and is now also gonna like start chasing Badline there. I think it's
the fight can take longer than you might expect, especially if you're dying a lot, since most of the rooms are quite long.
Yeah. Okay, now in the was it 2k meter section? I think I forgot. 2k meter section is. So the Golden Ridge chapter here, and he's gonna go for this auto scroll skip there. Nicely done. Also the wall bounce gets it first try easy every time. Very nice done there. Oh, accidentally falls off the block there in the second auto scorer, but nice save.
Light optimization here saves a very little amount of time, but every time saved is needed, of course.
Get the wave dash there, and that's reset, fortunately. And Vital now starting up with 1,000 meter section. Laurie has started with the second part there of the Badline fight, as Catnip is about to start her fight.
Ooh, actually got to hit the corner instead of the platform, so did a wall jump, losing all the momentum.
And now Cookie's finishing up here with 2k and going into 2500, which is my personal favorite to watch people do at least. Because it has a huge amount of optimizations and small strats to save time almost in every room. So it can be really cool to watch. Laurie there with a pretty costly death in the very last room of the Badline fight. So Catnip also struggling a bit here with the first couple rooms.
Some nice wave dashes off these dash blocks here. Incoming to key skip, which you save a bunch of time by not going down and grabbing a bubble, instead just doing a nice spike jump there. Or wall jump off a spike, whatever you want to call it.
Everyone who plays less will, of course, be asking currently, will Cookie go for door skip? Let's find out.
Yeah, one room separating him and door skip. And
also
take
some
a
spikes.
Keep us in suspense for a little bit longer.
He's going for it, gets one. And he gets two, nicely done there. Save that 9 years, or 1 second it actually saves.
I like it.
Laurie now has finished up with Reflectionist, so he's gonna start climbing the mountain as well. Catnip is a little bit behind there in the, I think about the middle of the first part of the Badline fight actually, so.
Yeah.
And Vital is going out of the hardest parts of 1500, going into 2k soon. But meanwhile, we do have Cookie in the 3k section here. He still has like 5 minutes left to PB if the time on SRC is right. He is an incredibly good pace for this run.
If it's up to date, but still on pace for a 34 right now.
Yep.
Which is insanely fast.
So in the first part here of the 3k meter, we do have downdrift, so we're gonna have a lot higher gravity, meaning lower jumps, less float time, all the bad stuff that we don't want.
He could even 33 actually, if his 3000 is near flawless.
That's true. Well, finishing up there, that was an incredibly quick. What's it called? Incredibly quick downdraft section, as he's now going into the updraft, of course. Meanwhile, Vital decided not to go for the other scroll skip there. Oh, went for the wall mouse but missed it. Let's see. There we go, gets set. And Cookie now coming up on the big 2 here, the 14 and 13. Pretty, very, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Punishing.
Sorry?
Maybe? Challenging, long,
punishing chapters, or checkpoints here. Has some pretty precise stuff in the end of those 2, but Cookie gets through the first try, no problem at all.
Yeah, the updraft makes it so floaty that it already takes a long time to clear, and then there are really long sections. Add that together and die at the end, and you lose at least 20 seconds.
Now on flag 11, soon coming up to 10 here. Ooh, actually skips that checkpoint. But gets through it very nicely down there. Now on to checkpoint 9, moving on to 7, actually skipping 8, which is very common. Meanwhile, Vital is going for 2500 here, also on really, really good pace. So we might see both of those PB, both of them PB. Yep. Cookie now, flag 6.
This is still 33 pace.
This is a ridiculous run for him. Flag 4. I'm just gonna watch Cookie until he's done actually, so.
Yeah, this is getting that really close to that 33.
Almost up to the Catnip has not finished the deflection, so it's gonna start on Summit. Flag 3 here. Nice little jump there. Feather. Gets out. Flag 2.
Skips 2.
Skips flag 2.
Oh, this is close for that 33 he desperately wants, I imagine.
And is on flag 1. Last section there. He will miss sub 34, and it's gonna be a 34:05. Wow, that is an incredible time. Really well done by Cookiepocalypse there. Congratulations on the race.
That was a really tight run.
Wow.
Almost makes you forget that there's 3 other races, the runs happening right now, and they're all in Summit. Still keeping it relatively close, but then again, Summit is a third of the run, so a lot of time can be gained or lost here.
Yep. Vital there, going for a little tight fit there between those spikes, can be a bit tricky sometimes. Catnip entering 0 meters here. Okay. Laurie in the middle of 1500, I believe, so.
Yep.
Moving
Coming up to the
pretty good pace so far still. Ultra room.
Ultra room, correct.
Doesn't get the ultra still.
And it looks like Cookiepocalypse might be on standby here, so could ask him to come join for an interview.
Yeah. Vital now has also started with 3K, so if the PB on SRC is correct again, we will have a double PB probably in the top run. Hey Cookie, and congratulations man on that run. That was an incredibly good run from you. And of course we gotta ask, was that a PB?
Yeah, that was a PB. I PB'd by 29 seconds. I had a 34:34 before this.
Okay, so the one on SRC was outdated then.
Yeah, I'm just like too lazy to submit my run.
Fair enough. Even then, it was an incredibly good race. You played really, really solidly throughout that. Like, do you have any overall thoughts on that run?
Overall, it was really good. Like, I ILPB'd Chapter 2 and Summit, even though that Summit was still kind of bad, but Summit's just hard. And, like, I feel like if I just made, like, one less mistake, that would have been a 33. Like, if I got like, skipped first try, that would have just barely been a 33. But, you know, I can't really complain. Like, coming into a race and getting a 30-second PB, there's nothing bad about it.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous achievement anyway. And at least you still have a good goal to work for, so don't be discouraged.
Now I've just got to skip 33.
Yeah, just go straight for 30. Actually, just go straight for sub 30. It'll be easy. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Community sum of best is already there, so.
I mean, if you just do the TAS awake strat, that'll save 4 minutes right there.
Didn't door skip save 9 years? That's the biggest one already.
So you said you PB'd, was it Summit and Allside, right?
Yeah. I got my first sub 155 old site.
Nice. That's really good. What was your old site then? Was like 154, right?
It was like 154.9.
Yeah.
So still counts, still counts.
Gold split is a gold split. Yeah. And what would be the chapter that was the roughest for you to go through, or with the most mistakes in your opinion?
It's either reflection or what is it? Reflection or ridge. I'm not really sure because I had like that one bad death to the auto scroller and bridge, and other than that, it was pretty good. But that's just like such a big death.
Yeah.
And then also, I can't really tell like how much time I lost in ridge because my ILPB there still has like several deaths, so I know I could do a lot better.
Yeah. Well, still, what was it? 21 deaths is nothing to be mad about, I'd say. So it's still a really solid run.
Just as an update here, we have Vital on the third to last flag there, so he's about to finish up, and assuming that his SRC is actually correct, then we'll probably see him in PB here.
It's gonna cut it close.
Yeah, it's gonna cut it close, but we'll see. Laurie has entered 2500 as Catnip now on 1k, so also on fairly good pace, both of them.
Yep.
Here we go. Let's see. Oh, and there we go. Finished up with a 3908, so most likely a 12-second PB there for Vital, so congratulations to him.
Immediately goes to chat and says it's not a PB.
Okay,
So,
well...
you'll need to update your SRC ratings. Because we're
being
being
lazy,
misinformed here.
3 days for last night. Well, still a good run, so congratulations on that. Let me have something.
Yeah. So, am I correct in saying that that was your first tournament race, Cookie? If you're still here.
Mr. Cookie? Nope, nope. He had to... Let's see.
Oh,
Yeah,
nah,
Cookie had
that's
an
fine.
incredible run. But okay, Cookie has a noise, so we'll talk to him more when he gets back in a couple minutes there. But meanwhile, Laurie here just finishing up with 2500, about to go into Summit. It's a bit behind her PB, unfortunately, I think. So
Yeah.
probably will be missing that, unfortunately.
Judging a 3-minute 3000, she's around 2 minutes behind right now.
Yeah. Nice save though from her.
That's a good save. Yeah.
And Catnip now on the other score here. Let's see if he decided to go for the skip. Nope, decided to go for the safe strat. Very respectable. Ooh, okay. Laurie catches that ball on the way down. It's a nice save again.
Entering 3000 now. And I heard in the practice race right before this, Laurie messed up a PB at flag 3 actually, or flag
Oof.
2.
That's a big oof.
And that was a really big oof indeed. But right now, this does not look to be in range for a repeat of that story. But still, with the recent change to how seeding will happen after groups, you still got to go for the W, and that's all that matters now.
Yep. And welcome in here, Vital, as well. Congratulations there on a very solid run. Fortunately, not a PB apparently.
Yeah, not a PB, sadly, but still pretty decent for my my first race. I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a very solid run. Both you and Cookie had really good runs overall, I'd say.
Yeah, Jesus, congrats, Cookie, on the 34.
Yeah, it was
Thanks.
ridiculous. And we have Cookie back.
He's back.
So, Vital, what do you think? Like overall thoughts on that run from you?
It was pretty good aside from the screens that just didn't work.
Sorry, aside from the things that didn't work, it was good.
Yeah.
That's usually the thing, right?
Well,
that makes sense. Yeah,
so
okay, fair
it was a few screens that I lost like 30 seconds on, right?
Oh, okay.
So
Fair enough,
it's not that it was like a consistent issue throughout the levels, which is how it used to be for me. It was like one screen just said no. It's like you're not going to pass this screen today. Sorry, bud.
That's at least consistency-wise a big improvement, right?
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yeah, that feels good.
Yes, it does.
So where do you where did you lose the most time?
So I lost 51 seconds on Golden Ridge. And then I lost 30 more seconds throughout. Actually, I lost 30 seconds at the last section before 3,000 meters.
In
So the mirror
two
temple
and a half
reflex.
K?
Yeah, 2,500.
Just the final room, or
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah, I know your pain. That room haunts my dreams.
Oh, same. There's a small meme going on about my last stream 2500, which is always fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really entertaining to watch. You guys both did put in a really good show, and that was also your first tournament race, right, Vital?
Yep.
So when can we see more of you two? When do you have more? Do you have more races scheduled at all?
Nothing scheduled yet for me. What about you, Cookie?
I've got more races scheduled. So tomorrow at 8 p.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., and Tuesday at 8 p.m.
All right. Well,
Nice.
if you want to see more of Cookie going for that 33, which I think he's going to get very soon, then do tune into those races there. Laurie, now let's talk about the race. Actually, Laurie is on the last 3 here, about to finish up here, so it is looking like she's going to take that race over Catnip.
Yep.
But Catnip is still on pretty good pace for PB, I'd say, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well.
Has around 4 minutes to PB, I believe, and almost entering 3,000, so it should be very doable.
Yep.
But of course, there's the big 2 in the middle that haunt many a summit, flag 13 and 14. Just a random question. Why do you think the devs hate us with those 2 flags in a row? Because this can be brutal. Never mind.
Nice.
Yikes.
All right, there we go. Laurie there finishing up as well, getting that victory in the bottom race there with a 44.18. A pretty solid time overall, I'd say. So, congratulations on the win.
Practically securing top 4 there in the group. So we'll see more Laurie in our future.
Ooh, that's loud.
Catnip here on flag 24 in the downdraft. Still has a few flags to go, but it's almost at the finish line. Let's have a good countdown in our chat for her road to the top of the summit. Ooh. And it's just to barely get to the end there, using her dash a bit early. But makes it through the downdraft. Now on to flag 19. Barely clips a spike there. So no problem whatsoever. Again, getting a haircut. just for safety. Aerodynamics and such. And speak of the devil there, say flag 14 death. and gets through 13. I wasn't gonna say anything because I have jinxed those flags before.
Oh,
not,
so,
not
so
ready
has
for
everyone, I
another
think. Now flag 11 here. So 10 flags to go in about a minute 20, I believe, if I remember right, to PB
Yeah.
still. A minute 30
Yep.
even, when I said that, now a minute 20.
That will be hard. Like everything from flag 5 is around 40-ish seconds, probably a minute. So once again, we're cutting it close here. One minute remaining to PB. Moving into flag 5. Grabs a weird corner there, but good thing we have neutral wall jumps to get out of here.
So currently 45 seconds until her SRC PB. It has turned
Ooh.
red, which scares me.
Yeah, that timer
It
is
might
red.
be for Summit, not for the PB though. Let's see.
No, I think for Summit she's still ahead. That's why it's a light red. But overall, it's already behind.
Those deaths. If she wasn't behind, she is now, and that might have cost her a potential PB.
Yep.
Let's see her when she gets to 40-30. If it turns like dark red, it's
It's both.
yeah, there we go, dark red. Unfortunately, she does miss PB.
That flag
Give it a
2
shot here with the
out
flags.
cross crop can be quite annoying to get around.
Absolutely.
But still, a time really close to her PB, which is always good for consistency to show in a race setting, since no resets are kind of rough to deal with, especially if you have a not so great early game.
And there we go. That's the last runner finished here. So I think we have time. We can check if we can get Laurie and or Cat in for a quick interview before we wrap up here. So let's see.
We should have some time. The next race is only in an hour, I think.
Not sure if Speedy Gaming has other things here right now though.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. At least for Celeste, you gotta wait. You gotta find something else to do for the next hour until we move on with the rest of our program for today.
Program. We're not a TV station.
Program. Well, with the sheer volume of races, we might as well be, right?
I guess so.
All right. Looks like we're not getting an interview for our bottom race here.
Yep. Well, then let's just quickly talk about more Celeste, because we have more races coming up today. Of course, in an hour on Speaking with 3, we have another double race there between Sinpers Icod and Scrublord Robin94. And then we have another race at 7 p.m. EDT, and then one about every hour until 11 p.m. EDT. So just as any other day, there's going to be a bunch of Celeste here, so be sure to stick around in an hour on Speaking with 3, and then the commentators there will probably direct you where to go for more Celeste after that. So I've been Swesty.
I've been Blue Eye.
And have a great day.